Hello, folks. Hope you'll forgive me eating a little bit. My day has been kind of bonkers, and I needed a drink, but I'm not going to do that on an empty stomach. So there we go. And yes, Aaron, well spotted. The image in the thumbnail is Jaeger. I'm not drinking Jaeger, but that was the image in the thumbnail. I am eating Thai drunken noodles, fittingly enough. No, I'm not planning to get drunk, but pretty sure it's not, Ms. Wicked Wolf. Not all alcohol is liquor. You need to check your definitions. Do you have any favorite David Bowie songs? I am partial to Lazarus, partly because I did a tribute number to him using that song after he passed. I had to get a new device because my original was busted using my phone. I had to also replace my phone, which I hate doing. I hate doing for a litany of reasons, including the fact that, I just don't like supporting the manufacturers of these things. But my old one was what was it? 4, maybe 5 years old. Yeah, it was starting to not consistently but regularly just start to fall apart on me and like freeze up, and it wouldn't work, and wasn't a good time. Jaeger sounds so nasty how it's described. It's licorice. It tastes like licorice. So, like, if you don't like licorice, yeah, Jaeger's nasty. If you do like licorice, Jaeger's awesome. I like licorice. Hope everybody is doing well today. So, as noted in the title, we are not doing politics tonight. I should not even have to explain why that's the case. That having been said, while I reserve the right to reject and or delete from the chat any political questions that get brought up, within those limitations, the one thing that will guarantee that I reply to your chat will be to do it as a super chat, and that will guarantee that I see, respond, and or answer your question. You'll also get the little gay heart of appreciation from me. So, thank you very much. Kind of gothy looking tonight. Really only in the lips. And it's gray, so it's not even black, but I like the gray. I understand replacing tech. My phone was delaminating itself. Yep, that would do it. That would do it. I have a puddle of peach crown at home. Ooh, Beatrix. After my own heart. Dang. Nice call. I'm managing because waves arms vaguely. Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen the German movie Vampire Sisters? Nope. I don't think I've even heard of that one, actually. My newest phone is a work phone that I got in 2019. My personal phone is a state-of-the-art flip phone. Ooh, fancy. Got like a Moto Razr. I got one of those. I still have one of those. I use it as a prop in performance sometimes. My favorite Bowie songs are Ziggy Stardust. Okay, Heroes. Heroes is a good one. Heroes is real good. Although I'm slightly partial to the... Oh, who was the cover? Was it Gabriel Byrne? There was a cover done that I like slightly better, but his version of Heroes is also really good. Ashes to Ashes, don't know that one. Let's Dance, that one's just fun. Jump, they say. Okay, all right. What are your thoughts on National Lampoon's Animal House? It is a movie that exists, that I have seen at some point. I don't know. Rest in peace, Robert Redford. Yes, I saw that. Actually, later this evening, after the stream, we have a hard cap tonight. But I saw that, and I'm going to be... I don't have time to like take in one of his longer movies. I've got too much to do. But I do have the time to watch the episode of The Twilight Zone that he was in. I don't want to say what goes on in it. It's kind of hard to talk about without getting into spoilers. But there was an episode of The Twilight Zone featuring a very young Robert Redford that is a very good episode, and he is phenomenal. And actually, you know what? Let me get you the episode title so that, because if I just give you that advice and people go looking for it, you might accidentally come up with a summary. So hold on. Nothing in the Dark is the name of the episode. Season 3, episode 16. Don't look at a description. Just give it a watch. It's free on Tubi. It's also on Paramount Plus if you don't want ads. That's what I'm going to be watching. He will be missed. I even from a young age, I liked Robert Redford. He just had a wonderful warmth to his performances. I really liked him. Just finished watching your Shining video that I've been procrastinating on to watch for way too long. So now I feel good. Oh, good. That video's like almost a year old now, isn't it? Whoa, geez. That is a larger noodle than I thought it would be. After much consideration, I've decided I'm going to wait to play Hades 2. I want to play it with my friends so we can experience it for the first time together. I'm going to have to reinstall it because it's getting its 1.0 release, and I've been playing the early access. So I got to reinstall it so I can find out what's new in the full release. I've got several bottles of booze that are at least 10 years old. Cherry vodka, 100 proof. Yikes! Malibu, blue Curacao, and Crown Royal. Should drink them sometime. Yeah, harder booze tends to sit around in my house for a long time, too. Favorite Bowie song is Sound and Vision from Low. I don't think I know that one. Wish I could stay, but have a good night. Okay, Beatrix, thanks for stopping in. Who are the queens in your life? That's a little personal. In Battlestar Galactica, the thing Boomer said about the Raiders dying over and over as a learning experience, it reminded me of the Virtual Warren surface detail. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's not too dissimilar. I hadn't thought of that connection, but yeah, there's a link there. Jennifer De Benedetto, thank you so very much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. That's very generous. I wanted to send you this for having to put up with 4.5 Vulcans. Oh my God. Oh. Oh boy. That was rough. That episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds was so rough. Like, I think it was bad by any metric, but especially for the kind of stuff I don't like. Dear gods. Yeesh. Yeah, that was bad. I've heard the 9th episode's pretty good. I have not heard great things about the finale. I don't know specifics, but I do know that I was text chatting with somebody who someone in the other room was watching the finale, and they texted me, I just heard a scream of bull from the other room while they're watching that. I'm like, oh, great. That's a good sign. I like Robert Redford and Barefoot in the Park. Haven't seen that. I should rewatch The Sting. You should. The Sting is great. I think the first thing I saw Robert Redford in was actually Sneakers. Underrated movie. That's quite good. Is the music in Hades 2 better than 1? No, I'd say they're pretty comparable. Hades 2 doesn't have a song that's as good as the one Eurydice sings. But the overall music it's about on par. Jess got in for the support. Thank you, David Gipe. I very much appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. My flip bone. Dear good grief. Okay, I gotta get more food before I take another sip. My flip phone is an Alcatel, actually. So is my UK only phone, which cost me £1 and features Will and Kate on it. Oh my gosh. Okay. My local Costco is already selling Christmas decorations. Finished season 1 of Sailor Moon. I have only ever seen sporadic episodes of Sailor Moon. Seems fun. Not really for me. Strange New Worlds finale. Oh my god. I keep hoping that the spice in this is going to like wake me up and have my tongue start working. I wonder if it's just numbing me. Strange New Worlds finale was just not good. Great to know, Amber. Oh, dear. This is a weird thing I've been feeling in my mind, but what if Galactus wore the Infinity Gauntlet? Would it make his world-ending powers any more insane than they already are? I'm not sure. See, the thing is, like, Galactus is already fully... Here's the thing about the Infinity Gauntlet. It's not particularly helpful when put in the hands of someone who doesn't want something unattainable. Like, that's why it's dangerous in the hands of someone like... well, it's dangerous in the hands of most people, but especially dangerous in the hands of someone like Thanos, who, in the comics at least, wants to impress death, like the actual personification of death, because Thanos in the comics is kind of a giant incel, and he thinks killing half the universe will do that. In the case of Galactus, he's already perfectly capable of doing the thing that he both needs and seems to largely be totally chill with doing. He doesn't... Maybe I don't know enough about Galactus. I'm not sure he has too many ambitions outside of what he's already doing. I don't know. Somebody who knows knows Galactus as an actual character, as opposed to like a concept, because I haven't read that many stories with him in it, might have a better answer for you than that. I need to watch The Sting again myself. Mom loved that movie, but I think she tried to introduce it to me to it when I was too young. I think it was in my teens when I saw that. It's so good. Everybody in that movie's phenomenal, like including all the supporting cast. They're all great. There's a bicolor transformer. Oh my gosh. Whew. There's a bicolor transformer. It's a great figure, and it's called Spinister. Okay. Would Galactus actually want to wear the Infinity Gauntlet? I don't think... Yeah, again, I'm not sure that's something he'd seek out. I think you'd almost have to sneak it onto, like, his pinky or something. My mom bought me some beautiful marigolds from Costco recently. They really make me happy. That's wonderful, Hypno Amber. That is delightful. Have you seen Nightmare Before Christmas? Adrian. I'm a millennial. Of course I've seen Nightmare Before Christmas. Good grief. I saw it in theaters when it first came out. I actually wasn't entirely sure what I thought of it at the time. Rediscovered it in my early 20s, liked it a lot better. What's your favorite horror-related movie to watch during the month of October? I don't really like when we get into October. I am more inclined to watch like nostalgic favorites, like certain cartoon specials, like the Garfield special or the Halloween is Grinch Night. Severely underappreciated. More people should be watching that one. Or the When Halloween Was Forever episode of The Real Ghostbusters. That's usually my go-to as opposed to actual horror movies, you know, when I'm wanting to get in the mood of the season. But that's me. Preferred anti-idiot weapon, the clue by 4 or the chair leg of truth. I'd probably go with the chair leg of truth just because I think there's just something more inherently badass about ripping a chair leg off and brandishing it. All I know is Galactus is really good with his mouth. Galactus, honey, what that mouth do? iCritic, thank you very much for the super chat. Emilia Perez, seems like a bad dream now. It does a bit, doesn't it? That's good. I hope it fades from memory. God, that movie was so bad. Oh, it was so bad. Ha! Ugh. I'm gonna burn through this too quick. Another Battlestar Galactica question. You know what bothered me a little bit about the conflict between Kat and Starbuck? I think Kat had only been a Viper pilot for a few months because she was recruited after the fleet formed, but they're treating her like an old veteran. They're not, though. They're treating her like a talented Spitfire. Like, also keep in mind, she is an old veteran compared to a lot of the people who are coming on now. Like, there's basically several waves of Viper pilots. There's the actual veterans, like Apollo and Starbuck, who were pilots before all this went down. There was the first round of recruits, which Kat is a member of. And then there's the newer rounds of recruits. Now, she still definitely has seniority over a lot of the pilots because she's been doing it longer than they have, just because they didn't have that many long-term pilots around anymore. So it's sort of tiered. After watching Halloween is Grinch, what might have to go to the euphemism? The euphemism? No one goes to the euphemism on a night like this. Oh, that thing's so good. And that, God, there is a line delivery towards the very end of that thing that I get chills, like the best kind of chills every time. So, at the very end, when the Grinch is, lugging his wagon back himself, and he's all kind of dejected, and he just has this line, and the very end of it, like, the delivery is so good. I'm not going to do it as well, but hold on. I'm sure going to miss that Grinch night ball, but that wind will be coming back someday. I'll be coming back someday. It's so good. I love that thing. Underappreciated. Badly underappreciated. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. What makes an anti-hero? Who's the best example? There are no good examples because the definition of an anti-hero continues to shift as the definition of a hero continues to shift as well. Heroes are fully defined by the time in which they are created, meaning that anti-hero is a moving target. And trying to pick a specific one is really, really difficult. The two main definitions that I have seen is somebody who is basically assigned the role of hero within a narrative, but is someone who would not normally be trusted with that role. So that would mean someone like Spider-Man would count as an anti-hero because nerdy high schooler is not someone who you would trust with these powers and is not someone who should be the hero of any story that includes that kind of physical action. The other type of anti-hero tends to be a hero who just goes about things in an unheroic manner, which again is a bit of a moving target, but generally the Punisher is kind of the go-to example of that because he is trying to accomplish good, i.e., get rid of bad people and get them on the street, but he's doing it by bad means, i.e., Moida. Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, that's what I watch every Halloween. That's good stuff. The first bunch, I haven't seen any of the more recent ones. Excuse me. Coyote Azul. Thank you very much for the super chat. Watched any of One Punch Man? I watched the first episode 8 years ago. And it was fine, but it didn't draw me in enough for me to stick with it. And I switched to something else. I'm probably the only millennial who never liked Nightmare Before Christmas. You're probably not, context, but it is at least being aware of what it is and having seen it is kind of a staple of the generation. The Badger 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 song was 20 years old 2 years ago. Badger 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 Mushroom. I saw Runt. It was the last film Cameron Boyce was in that got released. The rest of his career was shot in 2018 and got released in 2021 due to his health and for COVID. I know the name, Cameron Boyce. I don't know if I know who that is. Boy, that looks vaguely familiar. Where's he going? Grown Ups, Jesse, Descendants. I saw a couple of episodes of Jake and the Neverland Pilot. My God! Ha! Jake and the Neverland Pirates when my kiddo was little. But nope, never saw anything that he was in. So I had heard of the name, though. Watched all 15 seasons of Supernatural, but 15 seasons is a lot if you're looking at a rewatch starting from the beginning. Oh, geez. 15 seasons is a big part of why I've never gotten into that. 15 seasons is the kind of thing that someone who has a reliable chunk of free time that they need something to do with embarks on. I am not that person. I'm not that girl. You have much thought / knowledge of Etrigan? A little bit. He seems neat when I've seen him pop up. Have you ever considered doing a review of a horror franchise review? Not really, no. There's no horror franchises that I am already innately knowledgeable about, at least deeply enough to have it be something that it's I wouldn't be starting from a pretty early point, having to do a lot of research and looking into. And I don't know, horror movie content has never really been especially successful for me. The Shining review is kind of an outlier. But I mean, that's one of those things, somebody wants to commission me to do an entire horror franchise. I mean, I'll do it, but it's not exactly something on my own personal docket. Is that Jägermeister in the thumbnail? It is. I am a fan. Did you know you can make a layer shot with that in Goldschlager? I did not know that. Interesting. Not a huge fan of Goldschlager, honestly. How do you feel about Battlestar Galactica's very slow progression of time in universe? We're almost at the end of season 2. I think it's only been about 6 months since the whole thing kicked off. Normally I'm fine with it. It's interesting you mentioned that because the episodes that Jesse and I just recorded a podcast on, that won't be out for a couple weeks, but did a 1 month leap forward. So that was actually oddly jarring. I do try and watch the new Treehouse of Horror every year. That's the only Simpsons I ever watch. Honestly, at this point, I think that's pretty fair. I'm not a Punisher fan, but the vibe I always get off him is more villain protagonist with a somewhat sympathetic backstory, cool motive, still murder, all that. Kind of depends on who's writing him. Like the best Punisher story, I think, is still Welcome Back, Frank, which is odd for me because it's written by Garth Ennis, who I don't really like 95% of the time, but Welcome Back, Frank was a really, really great understanding of the Punisher as a character, both for understanding the fact that he's not a good guy, but also like what he does and the world he exists in is kind of absurd. Like, there's a reason that Punisher Warzone is the best Punisher movie. That film also understood this is all kind of ridiculous. We're still going to take it seriously, but it's all pretty ridiculous and we know that. Nightmare for Gen X and Millennials definitely defined goth at the time, just saying. I feel like earlier Tim Burton was a bit more for the Gen X goths. Like, I mean, I kind of feel like Edward Scissorhands might be heavily responsible for the very concept of a pastel goth. So... I turned 20 yesterday. Oh, hope you had a lovely birthday, Arthur. As opposed to recent episodes that's using let's start in the middle and leap backwards trick. Oh yeah, for where I'm at in Battlestar Galactica. They do a lot of let's start at the tail end of the story and then jump back however many hours. I freaking hate flash forwards, man. It is so rare that they are necessary or help. I really don't like them. Another good one in hot chocolate is chicken bone liqueur. I'm sorry, what? What, Aaron? That one's new to me. Now, my go-to in hot chocolate is espresso liqueur, which I am almost out of. I had a refill on that. Who's worse, the Grinch or Scrooge? I mean, I'm assuming you're talking pre-redemption. I mean, Scrooge, because it's a more real-world kind of damage. The Grinch, by nature of it being fantastical, just kind of softens it a little bit. I'm an ex-millennial cusp. Burton was totally my jam. Burton could always kind of go either way for me, even when I was younger. But when he works very well. Yeah, pre-redemption. Yeah, that's what I figured. Which Scrooge, though? There's so many of them. I'm assuming book Scrooge. You know, the definite article, as it were. You may be a Scrooge, but I'm the Scrooge. Okay. I gotta hop over to the Discord, check the questions there, and this is my chance to remind folks that the Council of Geeks Discord is a Patreon exclusive perk, $2 supporters and up. But anyway, let me check the questions there, and I'll be back in However long it takes me to do this. That's a good amount of time, I think. Okay, so this is more Battlestar Galactica podcast related questions. Jessie said she didn't know what to call the conflict between Starbuck and Kat because it read like toxic masculinity, but they're both women. Does the fact that they're both women stop it from being toxic masculinity? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Women are still capable of being toxically masculine, especially if they have been integrated and accepted within a deeply masculine subculture like the military. So, no, that absolutely does not stop it from being toxic masculinity. How do you feel about the approach of writing female lead stories, i.e., basically just starting a story conflict that would normally be led by two guys and just flipping the sexes? I feel like that's the easiest way for male writers to try and make their work more representative, but also the most shallow. I mean, it kind of depends. There are some times where having on paper, this could have been a guy, but having it be a woman, especially if you get a good performer in there to do the part in something like TV or a movie, like that can still just bring something to it. Whereas this might have been pretty generic, but because of this performance and because of the gender flip, it's actually a little bit more interesting. That can happen. Is it a little bit of a crutch for some writers? Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever get the vibe that Battlestar Galactica is injecting so much unneeded sexual tension into a storyline because they desperately trying to show that they're a grown-up, gritty sci-fi show? No, not really. Actually, I think most of the problems are more in line with the kinds of problems I generally have with shows that focus way more on characters' love lives than I would like them to. Just because it does it with, the degree of implied sex that it doesn't, like, Torchwood did that. Torchwood was the trying to prove it was grown up and gritty by having sex. The only character that I'd say that slots into that really cleanly is Head 6. And that is actually largely covered by, like, this is Baltar's conception. Of course she's like that. Now, is that a narrative contrivance to have a woman be naked in a lot of the show? Yes, it is, but they did still get an interesting character out of that. I'm not going to say that Battlestar Galactica is devoid of it. Again, in the most recent episode that I watched, there's a little bit of that in terms of how some stuff is presented. Like, there's a conversation between two characters who we know now have had sex and they're getting dressed. Well, rather, the guy is getting dressed and the woman is staying naked. So, like, there's stuff like that. I'm like, ugh, for crying out loud. But, like, especially for the time, no, it's not that egregious as far as that goes. If you could choose a new doctor, who would you choose? If we're going no holds barred, they're guaranteed to say yes. And I'm assuming you're asking for a performer. Either Tilda Swinton or Sean Pertwee. And I would want Sean Pertwee to do his own thing with it, because I think he could do his own thing and it would be amazing. Oh, the spice hit me. The spice must flow. If you were hired to write a Doctor Who episode or novel, if that's what you prefer, what would that look like? I think that the overall shape of it would be there is some great conflict going on. Maybe it's between races we already know, like the Centaurans and the Rootans or the Daleks and anybody. Or maybe it's just some nebulous, large-scale war. And the story would not deal with that. The story would be about the Doctor just trying to protect people and save them from collateral damage. It would be about the people impacted by the war but not participating in it. And the Doctor wouldn't actually get involved in the battle itself, either because, like, maybe since the Doctor already knows future outcomes, knows that this isn't a situation that he can just resolve, or that his presence, I'm going to say him, her, they, or that their presence could help. Or you could even have it be one where, like, it's a battle that the Doctor actually did resolve, but now he's coming back to try and help the people outside of the direct conflict who were hurt and harmed. That would be the story I'd want to tell. Basically, I want to make an entire episode out of that one line from The 11th Doctor. Nobody important. Blimey, that's amazing. 900 years of time and space. I've never met anyone who wasn't important before. What do you feel about AI speech content generators like Respeecher that claim to only work with the cleared agreement of actors to provide voice models within a clear contractual framework? There'll still be an issue for lesser-known actors around residuals. Oh, they're not getting residuals. I guarantee you they're not getting residuals. They got a one-time payout. I guarantee you they got actors who are desperate to make rent and who have no clout and are not getting residuals. So until I see a contract that is actually not just taking somebody's voice, never getting it back, and profiting off it forever, no, I will not be okay with that. How do I feel about it? Get rid of it, just like the rest of AI. Would you stream a playthrough of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream? Whoa! Oh, wow. That would be something. Is it on Steam? Hang on. Oh, cripes it is. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. I mean, if I wanted to stream something for October, I could do that. Oh, my gosh. Whew. No promises that I'm gonna do that, but I could, feasibly. Do you think the Cylons are too relatively underpowered in military technology and power compared to their advances in other areas like resurrection tech, which are way beyond human? For example, a Battlestar can match a base star and Vipers can match Raiders in combat unless they're swamped. I know it's a standard Black Hat, if that is what the Cylons are, versus White Hat plotting. But for example, the Babylon 5, the Minbari basically obliterated the human military, and it was never really suggested that either could go up against the Vorlons. Well, like, the thing is, while the Cylons have figured out a few bits of very specific highly advanced tech, like the Resurrection ship, they are still using fundamentally the same weaponry. They're still using nukes on missiles. They're still using artillery. So it really does come down to how good are the pilots. I think it is logical, but also not automatic that just because a society has highly advanced tech in one area means all other tech is advanced to a similar degree. I wouldn't necessarily assume that. I think for the way they've set it up, no, that hadn't really occurred to me. Have you seen the latest season of Sandman? Nope, I did not. And I probably won't. And that's not even like a principled thing. I just don't think I will have pleasant feelings watching that right now. Do you think the MCU will ever resolve the Quantumanium post-credit scene? Nope. No, I don't. If it does, it's going to be in a literal, within the first 10 minutes, throwaway thing at the start of Doomsday. They will either never deal with it or that'll be it. I've been making polls over on the Harbrew Holmes Discord. I found it funny that Spyfall won both best Chibnall opener and worst Chibnall opener polls. Really? Can you think of any other polarizing Doctor Who episode, and which do you think is the most polarizing? Oh, jeez, I don't know. From Chibnall, like, I know Hellbent's real polarizing. I feel like I'm one of 12 people who are very defensive of Can You Hear Me? But I don't know, those are the two coming to my head. Anyway, popping on back to the actual chat. Ooh! We got More super chats. What do we got? Aaron, oh, thank you very much. That was quite generous, and I appreciate that. Chicken bones are a candy. Oh, okay. Originally made by Ganong in New Brunswick, Canada. It's a hard cinnamon candy with a dark chocolate center. Oh! Okay, yes. That in hot chocolate sounds good. Unfortunately, because I didn't know it was a candy, just saying chicken bones liqueur, you kind of set my brain spinning. Jasonuity. That's fun to say. Thank you for the soup. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the super chat. What do you think an I Saw the TV Glow sequel would be like? I don't know. That is not a movie that I think... It's not even a question of would it support a sequel. I think a sequel would be innately damaging to it because you basically only have two real choices. You either tell a similar story again with a new cast, in which case we've already done this, or you follow on, but a big part of that story's power was the point at which it ended as a narrative overall and the last point at which we saw the characters. I think if we were to pick up again with either of the two main characters, I think doing that at all inherently deflates some of the power of that movie. I can't even conceptualize what that could be. Have you ever played Stanley Parable or Exit 8? If you did, what did you think of them? If not, what's your favorite indie game? Sorry, I'm bombarding you with so many questions. I tried to play Stanley Parable. It's first person, so I got motion sick and I had to stop. I have not played Exit 8 because C.1. And favorite indie game? I think you could count Spiritfarer as indie. Thunder Lotus, yeah, they're not a massive developer. I think that would count as indie. So yeah, we'll go with that. Supreme Omega. Thank you very much for the super chat. Pocahontas, would you consider it the first real crack in the Disney Renaissance? Because it was not as beloved as Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. Yeah. I'd say, and I'm saying this without having seen either one, keep in mind. I think both that and Hunchback of Notre Dame, they had their good sides and their bad sides, but the public just was not that interested in them. And while there are defenses to be made, and I think they were both overall successful, there was sort of that starting to dip. Because like Little Mermaid to Beauty and Beast to Aladdin to Lion King was a hell of a streak. Love Can You Hear Me and It Takes You Away. I like both of those too. I think those are among the best of the Chibnall era. Did you ever play Lego Dimensions? I did not. I played Lego Batman ages ago, but never did play Lego Dimensions. I love talking about chicken bones to people who don't know what they are. The reactions are usually quite entertaining. I can imagine. Does the point of I Saw the TV Glow rely on ending on an emotional cliffhanger? For my reading of the movie, yes, absolutely. Now, the thing about I Saw the TV Glow is that it is a film that is open to interpretation. So while I'm going to give you part of my interpretation of I Saw the TV Glow, that doesn't have to be yours. And if you have a different interpretation of it, that is fine. But to me, it is a beautiful, loving, and heartbreaking tribute to those in the queer community who don't get out, who don't get to be themselves because of a combination of fear, circumstance, and just running out of energy as the life that they're trying to live that doesn't fit them slowly kills them. I think it is a tribute to those people because not everybody gets out. Not everybody gets the chance to actually be who they are. And I know that's a downer ending. I know some people like to think that things turned around for the character, later. And that's fine. You can think that. I don't, because a lot of its power and a lot of why it broke me, and it really broke me, was because it was telling a story that needs to be told, but it almost never is because it hurts so much. Not quite the same as your episode concept answer. We need more Who season climaxes that are not about the universe of the Earth, but are the Doctor helping people, i.e. the Doctor Falls. I wholeheartedly agree, Angus. I mean, there's a reason the Doctor Falls is currently still my favorite episode of Doctor Who. From what I understand, Notre Dame was horribly mismarketed. They played up the comedy because they figured it'd get butts in seats. Who cares if parents complain afterwards? Yeah, the marketing on that was really weird. The marketing put a lot of emphasis on the gargoyles, if I recall. I started the Chucky TV series, and I'm liking the character of Jake. Don Mancini created him to tell his story about growing up as a gay kid in school. Even looks like a young Don Mancini. I've only seen bits and pieces of the Chucky franchise. I have a lot of respect for Mancini, though. I have a lot of respect that he has stuck with the franchise, that there has always been an element of gayness and queerness in it, and that he continues to explore that. I have a lot of respect for the dude. Disney's Pocahontas was a terrible idea from the start. I don't disagree. Who would make a kids film about colonization where the colonizer gets the very young girl? What the actual F was that? What it was not dissimilar to the kind of stuff that kids were already being told in school. Sorry. Do you have any film /show/book that doesn't really need a continuation, but you really want to see a sequel or continuation of any sort? Probably, but I can't come up with one off the top of my head. I mistyped. It was supposed to be doesn't. I saw the TV glow, rely, etc., etc. I mean, like, the does versus doesn't didn't really change the nature of the question, Black Cover. You're okay. Don't worry about it. I think I was in high school before I even knew the name, The Trail of Tears, which is something that should be required learning for American history. Yeah. American education was already not great. It's going to be worse for a long time now. But that is drifting frustratingly close to politics, and we are going to veer this the other direction. We will veer this into oncoming traffic if we have to. Did you see the Emmys? Nope. I've never watched the Emmys. I don't care. Only award show I ever used to watch was the Oscars. I haven't even done that in years. I just don't care. Even the Oscars, part of what had me watching it towards the tail end of when I was because I was in a betting pool around the winners. It's the only reason I still cared at all. I saw the TV Glue. Now that could be a sequel. Interesting, Jenny. My point was that I saw the TV Glow can't have a sequel because it needs to end the way it did at a precarious point. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I probably still would have gone off on the same thing, making the same points, regardless of how you'd ask that. Sorry for almost politicking. I'll get myself sidetracked. Not your fault. I was drifting that way too. I like that steering things back was me for myself as much as anything else. Love your channel and your insights, especially when I disagree. Oh, thank you, Roberto. That's one of my favorite things to hear. You make me think of other perspectives I might not have thought of anyway, just passing through and sending love. Well, love to you as well. Thank you very much. How do you pronounce... Oh, for crying out loud. Aaron, you can't be throwing Canadian place names at me and just to see how badly I'm going to butcher the pronunciation. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Let me look at this thing. You know, even the notion of trying to pronounce that kind of terrifies me. I haven't even been saying normal words correctly tonight. You're throwing that at me? Goodness sake. Musco de Boit. No, Musco de Boit. Boit or Boit? Musco de Boit. I'll go with that. Sure, why not? Are you going to see Wicked Part 2 when it comes out? I mean, like, rush to the theater? Probably not. Eventually? Yeah, sure. Burlesque question. Tiny hat or no tiny hat? I am not a tiny hat purveyor or connoisseur myself. Nothing wrong with a tiny hat. I've seen some great acts with tiny hats. I'm not really a tiny hat person. That's not to say I don't have one. I do. Just haven't used it in 12 years or more. It's been a long time since I've done a number that used the tiny hat. If Doctor Who ever got a cinematic release with fully fledged specifically for cinema, what Doctor would be perfect to lead the feature film? None of them don't do it. I understand that's being a party pooper because you're asking me a what if that is perfectly harmless, but the point is my brain won't let me answer that question because what I just did now is what my brain screams at me when I try and even engage mentally with that notion. Doctor Who doesn't work as single one-off story that just exists in cinema, which is what a movie is supposed to be. Doctor Who has to be a series of ongoing adventures. That's half the freaking point. So my brain will not let me answer that question. Not to say that you were wrong to ask it. It's not an invalid question. I just can't tackle it. One thing that confused me about I Saw the TV Globe was that Mr. Melancholy created the reality that included the pink opaque, even though he didn't want the characters to remember their former lives. I can't answer a question like that, Thomas, because I was very much wrapped up in the metaphor and the allegory and was not trying to sort out literal logistics on that one. Hello, you're looking gorgeous tonight. Your content helped me a lot. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Cold Bolt. It's lovely. Supreme Omega! Back again. How come you blame Shrek for the rise of celebrity voice casting? Isn't Aladdin to blame because Disney marketed the hell out of Robin Williams as the genie? Yes, but Robin Williams was one character in the movie. He was one and only one, and that wasn't even the only animated thing he did. He did a few things, some of which he even appeared in uncredited. The difference between that and Shrek is that Shrek was an all-celebrity cast for all the primary characters. You had, and Shrek was the one that put the actors' names in the opening. What's the opening credit for Aladdin? It's the title. That's it. What's the opening credit for Shrek? Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, Eddie Murphy, John Lithgow. All those names are in there. That was new. That wasn't a thing you did. So yeah, I do blame Shrek. Because had celebrities done voices before? Yes. Did Robin Williams kind of tee it up for something like Shrek to happen? Yes. But Shrek was the one that truly decided to make celebrity voice cast front and center, core to the marketing and the concept of the movie in the first place. So yes, I will blame Shrek. And that is why. Do you still not like the War Doctor? Not especially. He's fine. I don't have a problem with him, but can you pronounce the world's longest town name? No, I'm not doing that Welsh town. I'm not going to even try. I couldn't pronounce even a short Welsh name. Should I try, though? Should I try to pronounce this thing? I don't know. I'm going to answer the next super chat and think about it. Tara Bryn. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it immensely. Life's been turbulent lately. Ain't that the truth? But I caught you streaming this week, so just stopping by to say hi, hello, and thank you. I appreciate that immensely. Which do you think is better, Whovian or Hooligan? I like Hooligan on paper. I like Whovian in practice. Okay, all right, I'm getting encouragement to try and pronounce this thing. Hold on, little nip of courage. Okay. I'm just going to power through it. I'm not going to stop. So whatever's wrong is wrong. That was probably a butchery. But there you go. Any thoughts on the criticism of on Swift horses and marketing hiding it was LGBTQ in defense that it making explicit would have been a spoiler as the characters are closeted? I don't know what on Swift horses is. I don't know what the controversy is, so I don't have an answer. What is one film you have two different opinions of? For me, it's Catwoman. In the DC universe, it's god-awful. In the non-DC universe, it's so bad, it's brilliant. That's another question that, like, that's a fun question, but my brain's not going to coagulate enough to be able to answer that in the 2 minutes we got left. Coyote Azul, tiny hats. This is how cults get started. Cults get started many ways. Many cults own tea companies. So figure that one out. Just gargle incoherently, that's how you pronounce it. I'm sure anyone who actually speaks Welsh heard me do that. Their ears would start bleeding. Sorry for if questions. If! I don't know if you're on TikTok, but there's a channel that will do this thing with these two guys, and one of them is always like, if, and he always asks these bizarre things that just drive the other guy completely up the wall, and it's basically just dad jokes, but he asks them with all the weight of the greatest philosophical questions in the world. You're just making me think of that. If, although my favorite one they ever did was he goes, if I snap my fingers, you'll forget you were ever gay. The other one goes, I was never gay. Yes, I know. No, stop. Don't do that. Don't do what? I was never gay. Okay. It's great. Like, these people are obviously friends, so normally, yes, don't gaslight somebody like that, even as a joke. But like, these people clearly know each other, so they have a rapport. That is the framework under which I will accept those kinds of jokes, because that's part of a dynamic they have. In one word, describe your mental state. Your mental state. Oh my God! In one word, describe your mental state. Tired. Anyways, If Sherlock were to ever return, do you think there's any way they could fix the fourth season shenanigans, or it's better to ignore it? Like, that is my answer to, especially if there was a long wait time between when it happens and when something comes back. If something ended badly, just ignore it. Ignore it and move on. Okay. We do need to wrap it up there. Tahiti, Marocat? It's a magical place. Yeah, Peter, we talked about that a little bit earlier. So anyways, thank you everybody for joining me. This has been fun. I'm glad we were able to have a relaxed, chill one. And I think I needed that. And I suspect a fair number of you did as well. There will actually be a new video on this channel here tomorrow. The rare celestial event that is the Wednesday video. It's happening. So there'll be a new video here tomorrow talking about some stuff related to ChatGPT and OpenAI and the nature of AI hallucinations and why they will never get better. So that'll be a video tomorrow. Saturday's video is still taking shape and has spiraled out of control as I keep finding more stuff. Like it, I feel like I'm having an H Bomber Guy moment where I had like just a silly little idea for a video and I just keep dredging up more. It's like, how is there more? So I don't even want to say what Saturday's video is right now. I don't think. I guess I will. It's about what has happened at The Escapist since the whole video team left and split off to form Second Wing Group. Because somebody brought my attention to the current state of The Escapist YouTube channel. And then that sent me down a rabbit hole of other stuff that's been going on relative to that, which has sent me down a rabbit hole of other stuff that doesn't even necessarily involve that site, but ties back into it. It's become a whole freaking thing. Also, tomorrow I will be streaming on the secondary channel, Break Room of Geeks. I will probably be streaming Silk Song. I'm starting to get aggravated at some point, so I might have to have a backup game on hand so that I don't get too annoyed with it. But that is the plan for the Wednesday stream. Also, I'll be continuing to release stuff almost daily over there. I've got a lot of stuff to get out in the break room. And yeah, that's the stuff that's coming up. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you all take care of yourselves. Be well, be safe, be kind, and please remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, and you are loved. You're the council. I'm just running the meetings, and until next time, this council is adjourned. McCavity! Okay.